he's more of a constitutional libertarian freedom type. But, I mean, all the others are, yeah, it's time to turn the guns in. Because if you want the sponsors and you want the support of the system, the minute you come out for gun control, the Fortune 500 lines up to give you money. I could still sell out, ladies and gentlemen. I could snap my fingers and start endorsing the New World Order, and $10 million would come in probably a month. Just, oh, here's $10 million. Boom. I still get reached out to by establishment types. Oh, things would go real well. You could still get that national show. They're ready to meet with you in New York right now. They got the contract right now. Oh, yeah, let me see that contract. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, because they've got endless fake money. They just zeros and ones in the JP Morgan computer bank. You can't buy me with that. You can't buy me threatening my family. You can't buy me threatening my children. You cannot get the hands on this soul. It belongs to the creator of the universe. It doesn't belong to you. I don't want to be bought off by you. You don't have anything I want. I won't sell out for money, but I've said it. I subconsciously have analyzed my own mind. I know you've probably analyzed yours. The only thing I would even entertain selling out for isn't selling out at all. It's freedom. That's the thing. You don't have to sell out for it. But yeah, things are so bad, you do get desperate. You do start believing in lesser of two evils, even though that's the incremental thing that brought us to where we are now, the compromising. I mean, I would love to believe in Mitt Romney. I would love to believe he would stop the TSA groping. I would love to believe they would stop. But it's not going to happen, folks, because the system wants this. Obama is a globalist frontman. And yeah, he's got a crew of gangsters around him. That's the only argument I've heard from Larry Pratt and Joseph Farah, who are both intelligent men. That's the only argument that makes any sense is, yeah, but Mitt Romney calls the police on the neighbor when they're smoking pot on their back porch, even though it's legal. You know, the neighbor, it turns out, is medical marijuana. You live next door to a $15 million house, and you live in a $10 million house, and you smell pot like 100 yards away, and you call the police on them. First, Romney comes over and knocks on the door and tells him not to. I mean, I'd be like, get off my porch, punk. That's the kind of neighbor calls the police on you because your radio's up a little bit. The point is that is almost like a sign of just neurotic goody two-shoes behavior. But that's all part of the front, too. He's one of those globalists that does everything within the law. Well, the law says he can have money offshore because he's, with the right law firms and right, Arthur Anderson-type groups, accounting firms. The law says he can do all these things he does. To the globalists, they all create things and give themselves loopholes so they can sit back as a group and go with something, and then no one gets the blame. They've really figured this out, ladies and gentlemen. But the argument that actually rings true to me to a certain extent on Mitt Romney is he's not an absolute hardcore terrorist, communist, or ear gun. I mean, it's scary that Rahm Emanuel's dad was the head of the ear gun terrorists that brought Israel into where they are today, bombing British installations. I mean, that's pretty scary. And that he's an IDF officer. It's scary knowing that the UN and all these foreign countries trying to take over the U.S. I mean, it's scary knowing that people like Rahm Emanuel will do anything for power if they think they can get away with it. That's the weird thing about Michael Savage. I don't get a chance to listen to him a lot, but I do, maybe once a month when I see a clip or something. And he's talked about Rahm Emanuel's an air gun terrorist. He may stage terror attacks in America to take our freedom. I've played that clip here before. But then he'll say, but we don't need semi-autos. We don't need big magazines. It's just like, did somebody threaten him? I mean, I don't know how you threaten Michael Weiner. I mean, he did write a book of poetry with another man that people like Gore Vidal would probably come to tears reading. I mean, how do you blackmail Michael Savage when everything's out there in books? Michael Weiner, who writes love poetry books. with other men. I mean, I just don't, what's going on here? Why go on air and say Rahm Emanuel is an eargun terrorist and may blow us up and blame it on somebody, which is exactly what eargun did, and then, or eargun, and then he's over here saying we don't need our guns. I just, can't anybody not sell out? Can't anybody not act like this? Can't anybody, as we get down to the wire, not be cowards and just absolutely, collectively go to the bathroom in their pants? I mean, is there any men left? I'll say this to the global controllers. You are madmen. You are madmen. Madmen. They want power at any cost, at any price. And they intend on getting it, and they will wreck our civilization in the process. I've talked a lot about Don Corzine. Don John Corzine. Had a Freudian slip there. He's a mafioso. I didn't mean to say Don Corzine. Don Corleone. Never once did you come by my house for a cup of coffee. Now you're here seeking justice. And if you would have done those things, then even now those men would be suffering. Imagine John Corzine making a 40-to-1 bet with other people's money. And now it's coming out HSBC's running Al-Qaeda funds and aircraft and Wachovia's and Wells Fargo's running the narcotics aircraft and $376 billion and just I mean, it's just like you got a bunch of crazy mafias running bioweapon companies and just running around and like and you know, the old mafia 100 years ago, 50 years ago, who didn't traffic in kids you snatched out of schoolyards because there's a market in people that want to rape and kill little kids, and now you do that. And now the mafias of this world, you know why the old mafias didn't allow stuff like that? Because they understood that once you allowed that, you allowed the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And the next thing is, the really wild thing to do is release a bioweapon that kills almost everybody. Guys, I forgot to have a water in here. Will you guys do me a favor and give me a water or a coffee? I'm going to hit a Pollen Burst Plus at 2 today. Oh, yeah, I'm on drugs. It's called caffeine and superfoods. Oh, man, I don't know what to do anymore. It's just the reality just keeps hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. It's so real. We were right about it all. There's nothing too crazy for these people to do. They are just maniac lunatics. They are out of control. They're not in control. They're like, it's like an arsonist is in control when they light your house on fire and then sit across the street in the bushes laughing as your home burns. I mean, you people are out of control. You want to burn down society because you like to watch things burn. You're not cracking eggs to make an omelet. That's bad enough. You like to crack eggs. Well, you may think you can push people around, and you may have the majority of the public dumbed down in a servile, mind-numb capacity, but you don't have all of us. In fact, you don't have a lot of us, and I'm seeing things across the country, major signs. Richard Reeves is going to join us in about 40 minutes in studio to talk about some of this that really show me that the awakening is turbocharged right now. And that is a danger point because there's intersecting lines here with our agenda of freedom and just being normal and never getting sick of a sunrise, never getting tired of going fishing, never get tired of a hot plate of enchiladas, never get tired of just having fun, never get tired of playing chess. You know, those of us that aren't just absolute demons and who love goodness. Doesn't mean we're even good, but we know we want to be good. We're ashamed of the bad things we do. Being rude to somebody, dominating somebody, you know, flying off the handle at somebody. We're seen as weak by these people. No, you evil people out there. We are restrained Because we all have a little twist of Cain. And we all know if you start letting that little twist of Cain into your heart, well, then it'll split you down the middle and you'll come alive. And pretty soon, there'll be blood pouring out of people's heads like a crimson highway. To quote Danzig. So this is the situation we face. And all of you little control freaks who can sit here in this decadent crust, this thin ice you're on, you know, all trying to one-up each other with evil you can accept, because most of you aren't engaged in it. Most of you actually saw this evil, you'd throw up and be freaked out and go curl up in a ball. But you like to squawk around and hop around on the thin ice like you're part of it and like you've cozied up to it. When the ice breaks, and when you find out hell isn't hot, folks, it's freezing cold in the ninth circle. And when the thin veneer of civilization burns away like a meteor coming into the atmosphere, remember that you asked for it. Remember that you begged for it. Remember you liked the lie. And remember that you've owned it. You've asked for it. And believe me, you're going to get it. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the phone number out right now on any of the big news items that are out there. We'll take about 30 minutes of your calls, and Richard Reeves in studio real quick. And then we are going to have Max Keiser on to break down what he's saying he believes is going to be an imminent global meltdown that'll make 2008 look tame in comparison. Yeah, it's a design meltdown, and that's why they're getting the police and military ready for martial law. It doesn't mean this is going to happen, but the Ayatollah over there says that their word is the war's within 2 weeks. I haven't heard him talk like that ever. The ships are all getting lined up. The Al-Qaeda forces are being released. We're being told Al-Qaeda are now heroes. I have articles here where they've got great discipline and are good guys. And, well, you know, they're helping. But we may have to invade later to get rid of them. It's like, and then they'll have another group they put in who they remove. It's like an endless war. It's like you're a big military-industrial complex. You've got to finance the enemy. It's like a simulant. It's like if you want to go play paintball, you got to find another team to play against. And the game is world domination. So the enemy is there, so you have a reason to take over. And then you just move the enemy like a chess piece to the next place you're going to invade. I mean, it's so elementary. And I just don't get why people don't understand this. I mean, Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote 2 books bragging how he did it. They brag. They only write these books for each other, though. And again, a lot of people go, well, okay, we're obviously the best in the West. We come up with these evil plans. The globalists hate us more than they hate the Muslims, folks. They hate the poor people in the Middle East so much and saw them as a threat 100 years ago that they radicalized for 100 years the British Empire and then others, the most radical jihadis. Those people had almost no power 100 years ago in the Middle East. And then the British Empire, then the Nazis, then the U.S. go in there and arm every crazy group there is to blow the daylights out of that place. Because they don't want to compete with those people. They have high IQs, folks. They're smart as it gets. They have destroyed their culture.